Well, so, good morning, baby.
Good morning.
Ready for work?
Yes.
Yeah, excited?
No.
No, egg on your lip. Sorry. You got it.
Okay.
You look cute. You look beautiful in your glasses.
Thank you.
Right.
Well, I'm excited to see Faith.
Any color? Yeah?
Yeah. I'm always excited to see Faith.
I'm excited for you to see Faith, too. You always come back happy with stories.
Oh, yeah, it's always fun.
Interactions.
Yeah, it's always entertaining. I love when we're on the schedule together, or when she just pops up, too. Yeah.
You send her my love.
Yeah. Hi, Bubba. Hi.
Hello, Bubba. You want to say hello this morning, too?
Say hey to the cam.
Yeah.
You almost got me on my mouth. You know you're better than that.
So the press release came out yesterday.
Yes, congratulations. The
Thank you.
first of, what, 6?
First of 6 to go, yep. Second out of the batch of 7 we bought, first to 6. And quite a story on the run up to get these done. Thank you for your part. And you jumping in.
For inviting me along.
And the fact that you got involved, man, it made a lot of things shift and move. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to hit record this morning. Boy, no.
We're recording. We can't drop the window right now, Bubba. Sorry.
Yeah.
We know what you want. We understand.
Good job, bud. Yeah, love. Still get love. But it you know, all of this stuff combined, but I think you also helping since I had you to talk to one-on-one throughout the process, I guess it got my mind thinking in ways that led me to realize that there was more to do than just putting out the press release. And so I started cutting up the little footage for the little micro doc I was gonna do. And it started out just being a micro doc about my verse for Supernatural, and I wanted to combine it with the footage of you drawing the symbols for the Supernatural.
And then it evolved.
Yeah, it evolved into something I thought I was ready to release yesterday with just, the last bit of walk and talk. It was 30 minutes of walk and talk footage that I was going to put out as bonus content on socials. And something wouldn't let me put it out yesterday. I wanted to put it out the same day as the press release. But this morning I went to go look at it this morning just to watch and see what was going on, what was holding me back from putting it out, and I realized there was other footage that was missing from it. And then I realized there was a whole lot of other stories that, that I need to be telling here. And I realized this is probably the stuff that I need for the run-up for Killer Bee movie, actually. Looking at all the pieces of footage that I kept stumbling across. So I just started going through footage from last February, and now I'm up to April. And I'm like, oh, there's so much here that would have been lost, and I had to try to figure out a way to shoehorn in, or it would have gotten lost by trying to do something else with it later. So now I'm not sure what it is, if it's a micro doc or part of a little series.
Ooh, that micro doc series.
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be. And my name in the back is back in the 90s for short acts. So I'm calling it FlashbaXe.
Okay, I like that.
AXE at the end. And in the doc, I have the timestamp for the different clips that come up just the first time the clip appears in there. And I'm seeing so many different little timestamps, and it's jumping across timelines and stuff. So it's doing the here we go skipping timelines. It's the here we go skipping timelines stuff that's happening there. So,
but also a pause to acknowledge the fact that you listened to your intuition, you listened to Sere's nudge yesterday, and how that's really been a beautiful highlight of our journey recently, as we have both gotten really good at okay, the voice, the inner knowing is saying something, and instead of trying to okay, but I had a plan and push through, really learning to discern what that voice and what that intuition is saying, and follow it, and follow the threads even when it feels like it doesn't make sense, or we couldn't be able to articulate it to someone else and feel like they would feel like they were satisfied with the articulation, but letting it be enough for ourselves. Just no, I know, without a shadow of a doubt, this is what I need to, or I'm supposed to be doing. And then seeing the aftermath of it and being able to be yeah, even if nobody else understands or recognizes that this was what was meant to or needed to happen, this is what was meant to and needed to happen. But then also the double added effect of beauty when someone else is oh, okay, you were right to be bless you. This wasn't the moment for that, and look what happened because you waited or you your
Patience is
instinct.
power.
Yeah, and how we're learning the different levers of like, okay, when to hit the gas, and like it's crunch time, but you feel like you can do it, and you wind up doing it. And then when it's like, okay, I feel like, or I had the plan to like have this go through and be X, Y, and Z, but now I'm feeling like maybe that's not what I need to do, and like trusting both sides of that. So congratulations for, like, I know last night you were like, oh, I really wanted this to come out, but something's telling me not to. And the fact that you just leaned into that, that's incredible. So I'm happy for you, proud of you, congratulations. And congratulations for what that yielded this morning.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for being the perfect distraction. I needed that yesterday. I needed to pull back because you saw I was, from Saturday, the time I dropped you off at work, until evening, I was buried and locked in and focused to the point that...
The way the panels on that sunroom. I don't know, something about it looks satisfying.
Yeah, I was so locked in and focused. I mean, you saw I couldn't be disturbed. I was disturbed.
I thought he was mad at me, and I had to tell myself, like, okay, breathe. He's in his pocket. He's in his focus.
I was a little annoyed when I had to break my flow to come pick you up. I wasn't annoyed by that, but when I had to wait for 20 minutes for you to come out, I was annoyed. Then I was like, I'm in my flow.
Yeah, and I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, it is what it is, baby. I understand. We just won't get back to you let me know when you're ready for me to pick you up. That was on me for not checking to see if you were ready first. But we'll figure that out. But
I still apologize. Like, I should have texted him and like, oh shoot, I forgot. I'd had Kira leave a Lyra up for me because I was gonna do a flow, and then I had 2 customers stay late because they decided to do open. And I had to have them settle up after class was over, and it took longer than I thought. And then when I went to go pack up and leave, and was literally heading down to you, I walked past the sunroom and saw the Lyra still hanging up, and I was like, oh fuck, okay, I gotta take it down. And it took longer than I thought it would. After I saw your text, I thought it was just gonna take me 2 seconds to get it down, put it back up, and then by the time I came down, I was like, oh shit, damn, that must have taken a lot longer than I thought it did. So I'm sorry.
There were other triggers I talked about later too, but I'll get to that. Nothing bad. But what was it that I was getting to?
You said thank you for being a distraction.
Well, the point that you were making, that basically, I think Rick Rubin, you probably bring the quote, but for me, it's just I'm learning more and more. And
the work reveals itself as you go.
Yeah, okay. The art tells you when it's done. Yeah, it's not that you tell the art when it's done. And this is definitely one of those times when I had to just trust the flow. And yeah, I'm just really grateful for what's being revealed. Like yesterday, I took the Killer Bee movie domain name and created a Substack for it, pointed it to the Substack, and now I can kind of think through how I want to release this instead of trying to rush, and maybe at least to have something kind of current to speak to the press release. Maybe part of this conversation will come out, or maybe I'll take a snippet or something. I want to have something close and related to the press release that's out there for people to see. Like, oh, there's still threads to pull, because this
also,
is
it's something you can immediately paywall, because the fact that you've got the Woo reference in tandem with, I feel like that's something that some folk, just out of sheer curiosity and desire to like know more of the story, like would actually like go dive into.
It's an interesting point. Good point. I think you might be right. You might be right. It's funny because I thought I deleted my verse over the RZA beat last year, and as it turns out, I didn't delete it. I found it just before we left the house. I just found it. I said, you know what, I might go ahead and at least put that on Patreon. I wasn't going to share it last year because it's like, okay, we're going to do something with this. I don't want to, move too soon before everybody else is ready to move. But now that I realize that we're not going to move as a unit on this, so I really don't believe we are. Like, okay, maybe I just make plans with my portion of the story. I mean, Josh said the same thing when I asked him about sending the press release to RZA again this year, like if he thought it was necessary. He's like, no, you're telling your story, man. Just tell your story. He's like, yeah, I'm going to lean into just telling my story. I think all of
and you're writing your reality. Like, if that's what you say is so, then, that's what's so. Yeah. That's what I'm really enjoying playing with right now, too. It's the, like, I keep looking outside of me for confirmation or approval on whether or not I should or should not do something, instead of being like, no, I'm the one setting the intention, I'm the one telling this story, and if I'm telling this story, that's dictating what I'm experiencing as I move through the world. And so what story am I telling? Like, what am I experiencing? And now let me look at, okay, well, what story am I telling, and what does that say about why my experience is what it is? So like, that's literally like all I've been doing, like heavy the last week, but like the last few days, like especially like with Saturday, I was like, no, what story am I telling? Like, what are you experiencing? Like, what are you deciding your life is? And I think that's what allowed Sunday to be what it was too. Was like, just be yourself, just be organic, and tell the story that you're telling, be in the story that you've decided is your reality, and just live like that. The hokey pokey, the puppy hokey pokey.
The puppy pokey.
The puppy pokey.
Nah, you're right. Yeah, and it sounds like, I don't know, is your what held you back, or do you think what gets in your way? Like, the word for me that comes into play is overconsideration. Like, I was over-considering others' concerns and feelings, and maybe that's just tied to fear of ridiculousness, to backlash or consequence for just being myself.
The same
thing?
But the word that it had been for me instead of over-consideration was externalization. So just in general, externalizing my perception, like needing to considering. So you were saying over-consideration, the word for me was externalization, but it's literally what you explained, like considering or thinking about, how would this person react, or how is this going to happen, or will this person out, is this something this person would actually do, versus remembering like all of the things that I've learned in my mystical scientist studies, like when Neville said, like, well, you're having this conversation in your head with this person negatively, and you're having that on repeat. Try a week of just having that conversation in the inverse, and just have them, giving you all the goods and the praise and the everything you want to hear. And how the woman in that scenario was like, yo, everything's completely changed. Like, I've gotten, like, I'm in a completely different section in the business side, the word that became my anchor point was externalizing. Like, stop externalizing, like, what we're trained to do as children. Like, we're trained to look to adults for approval, look to someone else outside of you as the knowing factor, as the knowing source, as the authority, or for approval, or for like confirmation. And so for me, it became a reminder of stop externalizing, stop looking outside for permission or for approval or for confirmation as to whether or not this is something you should or should not do, or something that has or has not been done before. It's like, that shouldn't matter, that shouldn't be relevant to your process of existing or of being. And so yes, I think over-consideration could also be a synonym for externalization, what that was for me, because it was 100% about not just being concerned about how someone would or wouldn't take it, but externalizing it in the sense of, is this even possible? And it's like, why would you even consider that? If this thing has come up within you, if it's come up within your spirit, within your sphere, then it's for you. Like, why would you not just allow your curiosity to pursue that, instead of first having to see if something out here can validate that first? And so for me, it really was just a resounding, like, within. Every time you see yourself checking the external for confirmation or for proof, it brought me back to, okay, you have that quote that dropped into your spirit, the mirror won't blink first. Why do you keep looking at the mirror for precedent, instead of just enjoying looking in the mirror after you've already been? Because it's like, the mirror does, like, you go look in an actual physical mirror, it won't smile unless you do. And so it really became the reminder of, like, you've got to set that within. I have to set that within first. I have to first be that. And then the video I shared with you yesterday, where the guy was like, you're not experiencing it because you are not it. You cannot experience anything that you aren't already. The mirror can't show you something that you aren't. It's like, if you haven't dyed your hair blue, you're not going to see your hair blue in the mirror because you haven't dyed your hair blue. If you haven't decided that, you're this great performer, then you're not this great performer, because you haven't chosen to be that. You're waiting for the mirror to tell you that you are, and the mirror is never going to do that, because that's not what you're being, or at least walking the path towards. And so for me, it became the stop externalizing, because you're not going to see it outside of you until it's within you. And like yesterday felt like a glowing example of that, how you were like, thank you, I needed that rest, that break yesterday. Yesterday literally came out of me just being like, normally I would feel anxious and be on a perpetual streak of like, are you okay? Are we okay? Did I do something? Being paranoid, being anxious, and was literally just like, no, everything is perfect. My marriage is great. Everything's fine. If there's something that needs to be discussed, he'll discuss it with me. And until then, I'm just going to continue to be in bliss, being happy, being the energy that I've cultivated. Like, I am a fucking fairy. This is what I do all day. And sometimes I'm fucking oblivious, and that is okay. And I address it and handle it when the time comes to pass. And I don't have to take it personally. It doesn't mean time to devolve and, you know, do all the things. And so Saturday, I still took my bath. I still did the things. I still started laundry. I still did the things that it's like, okay, this is in my spirit to do. And then yesterday it was like, okay, what do you feel like doing? How are you feeling? And then I felt like having the morning that we get wound up having, and it was like, okay, just be yourself. Let that happen and like see what happens. And you're writing this story and you've already decided it's perfect, it's amazing, and everything is just going to be great. And he's going to feel great. You feel great, da da da. So like literally like drilling in relinquish externalization. Whatever's happening out here has nothing to do with anything in here. It's what you set the precedent for in here that dictates everything that happens out there. And if there's something that you're not liking, let's do recon what's going on in here. And so yes, I can definitely relate to the overconsideration. I think that's also what's led to me taking the separation that I've taken, the space that I've taken with my mother, and really giving myself the opportunity and the chance to see, if I stop over considering and if I stop externalizing, what can life then look like and be like for me. And even in terms of like work, having been like, why have you decided that like this is your cap, or accepting, you know, whatever. And so with the press release, being very clear about like, this is our introduction, these are the things that we want to do, these are the things that feel like we wake up and be like, I never work a day in my life because I'm doing what I love and what I enjoy. And my entire life is now centered around things that make my heart flutter and flourish, because I've literally lived and had moments of that experience. And instead of leaning into, wow, I'm living this, like being in New York pre-pandemic and having had my work be a part of the FIT art show and everything, the FIT exhibition, instead of continuing to lean in or lean into that experience and that reality, hearing folk be like, well, you never know because stuff runs out and you can't always cancel. You got to have a plan B. You better have a backup. And so having that floating in my head, instead of just like, yo, this is amazing, I'm doing this shit and it only gets better. And then it did. It introduced me to you, and then we got to have our pandemic experience, and then now we're married and happily doing all of the things together. But the fact that like formerly, had I just listened to those voices, I think everything would have fallen apart. But the fact that I was just trusting the process and trusting myself led me to New York for 3 months, led me to you, led to our collaboration, led to us getting together. And so literally giving myself permission to, instead of making that I jump in that flow, I jump out of that flow, I jump in that energy, I jump out of that energy. Like, what happens if you just stay in that energy? And even if voices around you start cropping up and talking about, well, that's not how this works. Maybe you decided that for your life, and I'm sorry for whoever put that in your spirit that made you believe that that's facts. But no, I've decided that's not facts for my life anymore. My life gets to be magical. My life is everything I want it to be. I do all the things that I want to do. Me and my person, me and my husband do everything that we want to do together. We travel together with our little chunky butt dog. Like, we do all the things that we want to do, and it's normal, and it's not weird, and it's not rare. We've chosen, this is the life that we want to live, and so that's the life we're experiencing. And just letting that fucking be like the proof and the trail, and then allowing other people to see, we fucking did it.
You can do it too.
You can do it too. Like, and that's one of the things that's had me so inspired to like share my mystical scientist notes on Substack, and being okay with being seen, because it's like, yo, I could have definitely benefited from someone, especially someone who looks like me, just straight up being like, you can too. You can too. Because I think I also,
evolution.
Yeah, because I think I also hit a wall there as well too, was because I saw folk who didn't look like me doing it, and so then created the assumption within myself that, okay, it's just not for someone who looks like me. And then now coming back to, no, it's not about that. And that's one thing I can shout out Kiana and Naomi for, because even though we haven't felt as resonant with her content, that was what her content did for me originally, was seeing someone who looked like me, is close to my age bracket, doing the things, like packed up and went to Colombia when her parents and family were like, bruh, what? Nigga, what? By yourself? you're crazy. And she's like, oh, well, I'm taking my cousin with me, but we're just gonna go do that. And it's like, you have no family there. We don't know anybody. Like, what do you mean you're just deciding to, like, you're not gonna finish college and your soul's been called to this place. What do you mean?
Yeah.
And she was just like, yeah, I'm packing a suitcase and we're going.
It's not for anybody to understand your calling.
Yeah.
It's your calling.
Exactly. And so seeing her do that and how that led to her complete 180 of her content and shares from her content being about what her life was like, going through school, doing styling vlogs and get ready with me's and things of that nature, to being about getting world experience and seeing beauty through her eyes and the people she was meeting and the things she was doing, and debunking and demystifying, like, oh, this country's terrible, don't travel there, it's horrible, or oh, it's not safe here, or oh, the black parts are slums and hoods and you'll get robbed and murdered, and like just being her own version of a fairy self, going out and about and doing these things. Like, that was really inspiring for me, and seeing like, oh, so it is possible, and this person literally is actively being like, yeah, there's that noise, but I'm doing this anyway. This is what I feel compelled to do. And then Taylor Tooks, same thing, being like, I'm 4'11", but I want to be a supermodel. And she's doing that shit. Has been the first petite model to walk some major runways and cover magazines, because she decided, this is my reality. This is the shit that I'm decided I want to do with my life. So that's what I'm doing, and it's gonna happen, and it's gonna be great. And
she shared her journey. I like the fact that
she shared her journey, and she shared the techniques she was doing. And even though technique-based work wound up not being what worked for me, just seeing her do it and be living proof and example, and sharing her story was inspiration enough and helped me learn what wasn't for me, and helped me return to practices that had actually been very evident and very present throughout my life. Just, what are you looking for? The sanitizer? Oh.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to break you. I didn't want to break you.
Oh, yeah, no. But, like, seeing her share that was just so impactful for me. And then in real time showing the evidence of, yeah, I manifested this shit. I'm living this shit. This is who I am. Which led me back to my own practices of, yo, since a little bit, smell that first to make sure that's not the car spray.
I don't think it is. The car spray had, what's called it? Oops.
Okay, it is, but the spritzer is broken, so you might want to just put it on your wrist or whatever, instead of creating a spot on you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to fix the switches.
I don't think you do. I think it's just, you just got to get a new spritzer top. Yeah.
Let me drop this key off so we can keep going.
Okay.
Because this conversation is dope. I'll pause. You want me to pause?
Sure.
Or you want to talk to yourself?
No, I'll wait.
Yep. Make sure my...
It's on.
Is it forward though? I'm trying to make sure it's facing forward. But you can go.
But yeah, just really grateful for the folk who I came across along my journey, who really inspired me to really be like, okay, even if their methodologies aren't working for me, it clearly works. And so my process and job and my journey is to just sort out what works for me, which led me to introspection. That's the word I've been trying to remember for the last several days. I was like, there's a word that begins with an I that also is a synonym for self-reflection. Introspection. I need to write that shit down, because that
use it all the time.
word was evading me.
Really?
For like 3 fucking days. I've been trying to remember introspection. Okay.
Wow.
Anyway, introspection. Got it.
Thank you.
So yeah, it led me to introspection, and through that, I realized for the longest time I have been doing this since a kid, and a lot of it was through imagination and daydreaming and writing. And so I've returned to each of those things, and as I have, and talking to myself. So imagination and / daydreaming, writing, and talking to myself. And I have reincorporated each of those habits and practices into my everyday, and I'm literally seeing all of these massive changes. In my experience.
What are you laughing about?
Her, like, being so focused and no thank you, and just Yeah. And how I for myself would have been like, had some other words to say.
Yeah,
but
I had to stop myself with the, no gratitude.
Yeah.
All good.
But yeah, so just realizing tools, the process has always been there. And so now being back in alignment with the being that leads to the experience has very much so been refreshing and healing and encouraging, and I feel like it's just yielding some incredible stuff. Like yesterday was an amazing day.
It was, baby. Thank you.
Thank you. So are you excited for seeing where the art now takes this documentary or docu-series?
I am, man, because every time I've done it and eased back and taken a moment to breathe and caught myself and been able to do it, the end result has been amazing and just beyond belief. So I'm just grateful that the experience is upon me again. The opportunity is upon me again to slow down, take a minute and breathe. Now, yesterday, what's funny is yesterday you asked me what was the question you asked me yesterday morning that led to the bungalow conversation?
Oh, I said everything's perfect, money is sorted. What is your everyday? What does our everyday look like?
Yeah, and the fact that it was the first thought that came to mind was just taking it slow. And not a whole bunch of activity or no spending, no buying things, none of that stuff. Just strictly, and it was simple. It was a bungalow. It wasn't even a big house. It was a little grass roofed hut.
Yeah.
And just near water was all I wanted. With you and Zinni there, and the ability for the baby girl or family to visit, but just simple things. And realizing I'm really, really settled with that now, and there's not a whole lot. Everything else is icing, and I'm looking forward to enjoying everything else. But the fact that the first thing that came to mind was just slow, quiet time. The life we were already living yesterday, the day we had yesterday.
Yeah.
A slow, quiet time with my people, with my hearts. So, really grateful, especially after the intense day, 24-hour editing session, damn near. Before that, and I'm also grateful for the fact that I had one of those, because I love when I'm so absorbed by a creative act that time ceases to exist, and I go off into a pocket universe where I'm not gonna say nothing exists and no one else exists, because you're still in my heart the whole time. Doggy is in my heart. People
No, but I get where you're coming from.
Like nothing else is impacting what I'm focusing on in the moment, and it's something that it's just an act of joy. So I'm glad to be there again, especially because there's so much that's been work lately that's been not creative work, and that going back, and since it's a flashbacks thing, since it's taking me back in time, I'm actually getting to revisit my thoughts last year, and I can see the evolution, the growth, the lessons, the journey. That had I not been recording this, a lot of it would have been lost. Right? It's funny because there was a clip that I found where I was laughing at not even laughing, but it's just like I started the clip off talking about a postman, because I just saw a mailman yelling at a mailbox. And I was like, damn, I just saw a postman go postal. And I almost swiped past it and didn't even look at it. But then when I went back, it was me telling more of the story that's related to now. So it was the other lesson about be patient, revisit your thoughts, your memories. These are your journals. Go back through your journals like you do with your paper journals. I see you doing all that. I'm like, I would never read a paper journal. And I always tell you that I don't ever go through my camera roll. But the fact that I slowed down this morning and did that was just the other reminder that, there's a lot going on. And it makes me feel rushed to do the other things, the things I'm passionate about, but I just gotta keep settling into. That's not necessary. Like even the I showed you the chat I had where I had the conversation with the AI about the person that keeps wanting to do these collaborations, and that the vibe just wasn't right. So I put my thoughts into the chat engine about the interactions with this person, and how the chat was, without giving it what my thoughts were and my interpretations, the chatbot came back with the same interpretations that I was essentially having and affirmed it. So it kind of helped me realize that I can even slow down even more on that, on interest in those collaborations too, and really cut it off. So it even got to the point where, usually I take time to explain myself in full and consider the other person when it comes to things that I'm just anything. And this person put in one of those long one of those long messages, or where they did one of the things that normally would trigger me, and all that came to me in my spirit, instead of having to explain and have a conversation with them about it, was just no thank you, and kept it moving. And it was like, it was done. I was trying to think of how do I articulate my frustrations to this person, all this, and I was like, even the chatbot was like, are those thoughts for you, or are these thoughts for somebody else? It's like, or are these really thoughts really for them, or are they for you? Like, you know what? Yeah, now I'm in my world. Let me just focus forward. It was crazy that again, man, the machine had to give me the affirmation, but a lot of times these thoughts and these things ricochet through my head. So it was really dope to have that experience in the midst of all these other things. So I've been in a bunch of universes the past 2 days, and that's incredible. Past week actually. But it's been beautiful seeing the exponential lessons that come from this. All the way they're all interrelated in some way.
The connective tissue.
Yeah.
You said several things that I was like, okay, I hope they come back so I can remember. But you mentioned like, nothing exists, and I was like, definitely not taking it personal. Like, no, that's incredible, because I know what that's like. So my first thought when you shared that was, yeah, we want the ability to be able to do both, to have these hyper focused, integrated, creative, output, engaging flow state moments, and then be able to have, like, yes, the rest, the do nothing, the lounge, the immerse within in each other, but also to be able to have those, like, yeah, we are creative vessels. So to be able to like channel and get it out and be in the deep of that creative expansion and output or input, whatever it is, being able to have that. And then in relation to that, something I heard, and I wish I could place where recently, but something that was shared recently that really struck me was, time doesn't exist, the mind creates time. Now is all there is, and we're perpetually in now. We have just created the labels and the notions and ideas of time to connect and to relate to others, but without mind and without collective consciousness of mind, does it actually even really exist at all? And when you're thinking about quantum theory and superpositioning, if everything is happening all at once always, then really there is no anything. It's just a continuum. It's just now. And so you could skip timelines or expand, quote unquote, timelines. And I feel like I've also been really experiencing that too, where I'll be deep into something and like channel a whole lot, get out a whole lot, and then come back out, and it seems like not even 30 minutes has gone by, but it felt like 5 hours. And it's like, yeah, time doesn't exist. And that has also led to an affirmation that just floats through me from time to time, but has literally revolutionized my life, which is, time is always on my side, life is always on my side. And like, as I've been living and breathing that notion, literally that has alleviated rush and stress, and like stressing or rushing to do anything. Like even this last night, I was like, okay, I know we got to get up early so we can drop the key back off, and all of the things. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna get up in enough time, be able to have my mobility and morning movement, rinse off, it'll be easy. And that's literally exactly what happened. Even with time to spare, like, it's still fucking early, like really early. But all of the things
normally have you, right?
Yeah, but all of the things are done. The clothing's dropped off for the donation, the key is returned, and now we're having this dope ass conversation. And it's just all, and so I'm really learning, like, life is always on, like, living and breathing, life is always on my side, time is always on my side. And that intention, like, truly choosing, setting intentions and choosing, like, what life is going to be. Like, when I do that, it literally changes everything. And then also experiencing what happens when I don't. and it's usually less enjoyable to neutral, or sometimes you're straight up like, oh, that was fucking awful. And so reminding me of why it is so important to choose to set the intention. Otherwise, life is just gonna ricochet around you, and sometimes it'll be great and wonderful, and sometimes it's not gonna feel that way. And so that's been like the supreme encouragement of like, okay, don't externalize, go within, choose, make your decision, and set your intention and be. And that has been like so monumental for me. And then, what was the last thing? One of the last things you said that I really wanted to speak to. What was the last part you were talking about?
I don't know. I was so focused on what you were saying. I lost myself. Your history.
Dang, it'll come back. But just all of what you were saying, just being able to appreciate all of the moments, the deep creative moments, but also the moments of rest, and being able to, the being able to slow down and take time and not feel pressured to have to do because externally something has been saying like, oh, you need to blah blah blah, or oh, doing blah 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 would be better or would make a difference. But I've personally recognized the more that I do slow down, the more that I do take the time, the more that I do live in that pretty flowers, in that creative in between is the word that's coming up, but just that
limbo,
that presence, everything just keeps continuing to work out and to unravel in the most aligned and inspiring ways that I could not have like concocted on my own. And really enjoying what I'm right now calling the collaboration of the dance with isness, with the universe energies, like everything that we're a small reflection or fractal of, like the magic, the force, that my dance with the force, like every time I just surrender to like, yo, I'm doing my part by just floating and being in the presence. And when I let the force do what the force does and like tango with the force, I'm always supremely surprised and impressed with how the force shows up in my life, and how it moves some shit or makes some shit happen just because I stayed true to the alignment and to the isness. Like it felt like yesterday was complete proof of like, yo, when you just in your being and in alignment, like you and the force, what you do with the force is incredible. And really leaning and trusting into that, and that's helped me alleviate even more as I continue to participate in it. It's helped me just continually, perpetually alleviate more of the urges to check external or to consider external before just being, before just doing. Like it's given me insurmountable like trust in myself, and then trust in the force, and like that. Yo, even taking it to the bare bones of like, yo, you've never been without. Like, you have never been in a position where like the force hasn't carried you or made sure like some way, shape, or form you got through whatever. And 9 times out of 10, if something was harder, you were making it harder because you was trying to yank the wheel when the wheel, you were not doing your collaborative part.
The conversation about control that we had.
Yeah, like ego got in the hopped out the trunk or wherever the fuck it had been, and
fear.
You know, but when that's not the modus operandi, yo, the shit that we be doing with the force is incredible. Like, yo,
and is this part of the reason why we've been drawn to start watching Star Wars series again?
I literally feel like maybe, and just all of the parallels we're seeing, and how we're always like, well, we're not religious, so we definitely don't like playing around that G word, the word God. And for a long time I was using universe, but even that has kind of become synonymous with God, or a synonym for it. But really, truly, we don't mean some like all being, all knowing entity, but just like it truly isness. Like that's why I think I clung to isness so much, because like there's no other way. Like the force is the only other thing that can really convey what I mean when I say isness. Is just like the everything and the isness that interconnects all of us, all things, everything, which helps me understand like nothing is separate, and really helps me understand that idea of everything is happening in the now, like it's real now. And if it is not real now, if you are not being it now, then it is not a part of your reality. But if you are it, then it was that Yoda quote when he was pulled Luke's X-Wing out the swamp, and he was like, I don't even know how you did that. I could never do that. And he was like, and that's why you can't. Because you think you can't. You don't believe. Duh.
Done.
And so like literally have been, I don't know, I had to take my glasses off for that, but literally have been existing in that, like, okay, so are you being that? Are you believing that? And if you're not, then there's the answer to your question. Genius. So be it. And by being it, experience it. And that has led me to like so many like foundational questions that have cracked so much open and have led me to different little pocket universes that have gifted me so much inspiration, so much encouragement, so much insight, which has made me feel even more confident in, yeah, you just keep going. Oh, that was what it was you were talking about with oops, almost said the name, the person that you decided not to do the explaining to. And I had just seen a post from someone, I think it was even 2 weeks ago, and he was basically breaking down, he was like, things that are indicative that you're either stuck in survival mode or leaving it and need the push to keep a couple things to help you really move past it. And it was like either the first or second, one of the first three notes that he gave to do was, he was like, stop explaining yourself to others. And so when you said that, that just brought that post back to me. I was like, damn, I hope I can find that post, because now I'm curious about, because I think he gave 10. There was like 10 things, and it made me want to go back and see what the other 10 were. Yeah, but that was one of them. And when I first read it, I was like, damn, stop explaining yourself to others. And I was like, oh, I do that. And then like it became very evident over that next week, like how often I find myself giving extra details or over explaining, or explaining when maybe there wasn't the need to, but I felt compelled to.
Yeah.
And so I started playing with that, and then catching myself when I was like, okay, you are feeling very determined and very like earnestly necessary to explain that. Is it? Where is that coming from?
Yeah.
What part of you is that coming from? Is that you?
What have you discovered about where it comes from?
That a lot of it is fear, or in relation to fear, conditioning. Well, in this situation, you're supposed to. Yeah. Or it'll make that person feel better, or that's the right thing to do. And it's like, well, is it?
I want to stay connected. I don't want to, I don't want to come.
And I was like, wow, so that's been groundbreaking too. And the more I've done it, the more space I have felt open up, but also the more I feel like I've experienced the external or other people interacting with me differently as I have made that adjustment. And that's been really cool to experience as well too.
Definitely say
So thank you for sharing. That was just really incredible to me. I just had one of those Sere moments of like, oh my gosh, you too? Yeah, it's a wild experience, right?
It keeps happening, man. We keep in our own separate realities. It seems like we have so many of the same things going on in our world, so the same evolutionary arcs happening. And maybe it's because we're writing the story. I mean, you were writing the press release. Maybe you wrote this into our story for this chapter. And I'm always writing stuff. Maybe there's some of this stuff I'm writing in here as well.
Which has made me so intentional, like so intentional.
Run from the bee.
Which has made me so intentional about language and what I'm writing. Oh no, you're good. Like homie over here, not quite sure what he's doing.
He's trying to avoid a pothole.
Oh. Folk child, what a pothole almost caused an accident.
Create a pothole.
Literally. Create a pothole in your car. But yeah, just being really mindful and really intentional about my language, and then my thoughts. Like what am I thinking, where and who am I thinking from? Like the challenge that I was sharing with you, that I have been engaging for the 48 hours, that I believe his name is Will, on YouTube, but he gave the challenge of, you've already got all of the things that you need. The only thing that allows your manifestation to materializing your reality is by being it. So he was like, for 48 hours, you're not watching the videos, you're not doing the methods and the techniques and the da-da-da, like you're just being it. And when such and such crosses your mind, like what are you who and what are you thinking from? Like what is actually happening in your life, in your day? You're designing it, you're writing it. The only thing that exists in the present is your awareness. Everything else. And then he brought up the concept of how imagination and memory come from the same part of your brain. So they're both figments, like they're both not real. They're both recollections or forth callings. Like they're both something that you are creating internally with mind. And so if you are minding your mind, what are you choosing to assume is happening or is going to happen in the next moment? Are you basing it off of what you're experiencing in the now, which was created by former you who had X, Y, and Z thoughts, opinions, and feelings? Or are you assuming and are you thinking in alignment with whatever you said you wanted to be, whether it's money, health, abundance, living wherever, traveling? Are you thinking from the fact that in this now and in the next now that is the life and the reality that you're living? Or are you continuing to assume from are you allowing the external to dictate what your life will be? And if you're allowing the external to dictate what your life will be, you'll experience more of the same. But if you give yourself permission to, and he was like, yeah, it sounds counterintuitive because that's not how any of us were raised to, be and believe and think and operate. But he was like, but once you start being and believing and thinking and operating from that way, that is how you experience these things in life. Like once your I am has changed, once you start being and living and thinking from that, whatever it is that you decided you wanted, you can experience it. You can't experience it if you aren't it. And he was like, the biggest example you can think of it is when you're negative to yourself or self-deprecating. You literally wind up manifesting or experiencing more of that. And it's not just because, oh, that's just what happened to happen. No, you were being that. And so you gave reason to experience more of that. And he's like, yeah, there will be random different things that will happen in life, but for the most part, you really could be living and experiencing a completely different life if you decided to choose to experience that and stop letting the things that are happening in the present. He was like, yeah, and there will be some there's a potential for you to have cognitive dissonance in the moment because you've been conditioned to be like, no, this is what's real, this is reality. But it's like, science is literally telling us, quantum theory is telling us that's not the case, and things get way more interesting and fun when you abort oh, this is just how it is, and decide, but what if it could be different? And just for shits and giggles, even if it's just for shits and giggles, just trying it out.
Shut down the program.
Yeah, and let yourself be surprised. And so that challenge has literally been so fun, and being able to see and witness my mind at different points being like, but that's not, and it's like, but it is. Why would you say that it isn't? And like just seeing how easily that just shifts everything. Yeah. And just the energy, like the peace, the stillness, the comfort that has created in my soul is insane. And I feel like I've been seeing that in you, like the more that you have just been pulling the threads, following your intuition, your instinct, the drivers that pop up at different moments, the more you've been following that, like the way I have seen you come back alive. And I keep commenting like, yo, I know you're happy because you're doing the little dance, you're being the human noisemaker, the beatboxer, like you're doing the things that I know you only do when you are feeling attuned with your spirit, with your soul. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's already done. Like there's no way you can tell me this shit just already isn't what it is. And I was just like, yeah, this was what this whole loop and cycle was about, was we needed to find our way back to go forward, and we have. And it's a completely, like you said, like I think I said it the other day, I was like, yo, oh wow, after finishing writing that the first night of the press release, I was like, oh, we switched timelines.
You did say that.
Yeah, I was like, it happened. I was like, we shifted timelines. Like I literally said that shit out loud because I felt it. I knew. I was like, we shifted timelines. It's done. Like it's done.
Yeah, it's done. You talk about the person just brought something else to mind too. I haven't heard this song in I don't know how long, but you heard Remove was playing this morning, and how I was talking about having the conversation with the cat, and decided not to. Like I just realized that's not something I ever have to do. I don't ever have to make moves with regard to any relationship, because I'm looking at the past year, just the past year alone. Everyone who wasn't supposed to be in my bubble has removed themselves. I haven't had to remove everything from my life. Like it's.
Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't cussed up a storm.
Huh?
So I'm sorry, I haven't cussed up a storm. I see you leave to yourself.
Oh no, that's just something I'm naturally doing, because I catch myself on the pod. Remember when I found that old pod episode and I just saw every other word was shit.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I need to consciously work on my language. And wow, did you just notice that? It's like, damn, I didn't realize that I caught that. But it's just naturally happening more and more. I'm grateful for that, because I definitely got.
But example of setting the intention and it just
happening.
Yeah. Like that is teaching me so. That's been my biggest lesson right now. It's like, yo, set the intention, make the choice, and the shit happens,
and, move on.
And aligned action happens organically, naturally. You don't have to force or make. You don't have to force to do it. Like it just happens, as long as you keep living and being. Like it happens. You've done. Like, you've done it.
The year of automatic. Remember the conversations we were having about confidence, and I was telling you I wasn't confident in my rhymes. I needed to practice. I needed to put the time in, and you were like, hey, you just need to say it. You just need to be it. And I didn't quite see it or agree with it at the time. Like I see your perspective, but I also saw the same thing. It was the thing that I got from Layla Hamosi, where she said, act your way into confidence, and not act as in pretend, which is what I thought she was saying, but act as in take action. And I found one of those other videos I found this morning was me talking about how, I set the intention last year to get better with my rhymes, and to blah, blah, blah. And I showed up without setting some schedule or some rigid practice or anything. I just set the intention, and then over the course of the year, I got my favorite rhymes in my life.
It unfolded.
It happened automatically just by saying I was going to do it.
Yeah.
So I think understanding how that confidence works is a lot of where that lesson and that journey has been for me the past couple of years too, is how that confidence actually comes. It's saying it, but I hear a lot of people say it, and then I see them not be it. And I think that's where my inability to see that, because the arrogance thing, like I see you say you're all this, you're all that, or you're this, you're that, but I don't see the evidence. I don't see you doing the things that you say you're gonna do, or I don't see you experiencing the life that you say you're gonna live. So I looked at other people's realities and other people's experiences, because they weren't showing up, which I didn't realize was the key part, and realized that just for me, I set the intention, but I also showed up, but I didn't show up through regimen. I just showed up naturally. I don't know. Like I said, I don't understand that part still. I'm still understanding that part.
I think you explaining that,
I say it, and now it's happening.
I think by you saying that just unlocked for me like the thing that had been missing as I was like, the dead horse thing. Just continuing to say it to you over time, but hearing you explain it that way, what just dropped into me was that, or is that, it's the setting the intention, the choosing, and the being happens organically. But the biggest difference I recognized with us is when we are passionate about something, we marinate ourselves in it, which makes the being almost organic, because we are constantly inputting and feeding ourselves things that can create the byproduct of. So what you were consuming, you would be watching things related to your craft and folk who also partake in your craft, and seeing the things that work for them, and then pulling and playing with the different ideas, or just like consuming and having something to chew on, and that would lead to you sharing other thoughts and opinions and feelings, which would lead to you then playing around in your art and in your craft. So then when you did have those moments of organically feeling drawn and pulled to your craft, you were showing up with this tool belt of these different things and pieces you had picked up. And what helped me like arrive there is, as you were saying that, I was like, that's literally what happened with me with Ariel for almost 6 months, like from, what is this year, 2026? So early 2025, maybe even late 2024, Ariel content had randomly started showing up on my TikTok. And I had just been consuming the content, binge watching, and being like, oh, that would be cool. I feel like I would really enjoy that. Like, that seems like something I want to do. And that slowly, it looks like fun. And that slowly grew from like, oh, that looks like something I could enjoy, something that could be fun, to, oh, wow, there's like actually studios for this stuff, like in the areas where we frequent. Interesting, cool. Then it was, oh wow, we're staying in Columbia. There's literally one in Columbia. Oh, now we're not in Columbia, we're in Richmond. Oh damn, wind out of the sails. Then it coming back to me on TikTok and still being like, yo, this still looks really fucking dope. I'd really love to do this. Going to Google. Are there any aerial studios close by? There's 2 in Richmond. Oh, cool, great. Wow, one is 10 minutes from the house. Like, even less if there's no traffic. Holy shit. Okay. Ah, damn, the price. Ah, well, maybe it's not in the budget. Then having another us chilling in the forest moment and you being like, babe, yo, you're feeling so called to this, you're binge watching these videos, you started working out again. Like, I literally wanting to be ready for aerial got me back into doing daily working out and mobility training and flexibility training and strength training and like all of the things.
I didn't realize that was what was driving you. That's cool. Like, I see so many videos.
Yeah, like, because I wanted to re-engage fitness, but also part of it was, in my mind, I was telling myself, because of how my former habitual state was if I try something and if I'm not immediately good at it, I don't want to do it. And so I wanted to get myself back into some conditioning so that I could feel like I got a win out of my first experience. So I didn't go in, feel like it was a failure, and then allow that former part of myself to then be like, oh, well, guess this isn't for us because we suck, so we just not gonna do that. Like, my ego would be disruptive in that way, and I can be honest about that. Like, my ego would immediately feel like it needed a win, because otherwise, no, we can't talk about that shit. That's nobody's business and nobody's gonna know. And so
remember, I wanted to see if Mina could go in the gym. Like, I want this for me.
Nope.
I loved it though.
But yeah, and so like, but being honest about that and knowing that that's where and knowing that the ego very much still was on the wheel and was making those decisions, but also understanding like, okay, I needed that space to just cultivate myself and to cultivate the practice. But getting ahead of myself, that prepping and that being willing to jump back into working on myself and on my body, and then you being like, no, I've seen you're pouring into this, you're following through, you're doing the things. I gotta trust that, like, yeah, it's X amount of dollars and that's not really on our budget, but your soul is feeling called to this, so do it. And that led to finding dope community, even more dope community, going to our first aerial showcase there outside in a garden, like in a mansion, like
they were doing it from a tree,
like just stuff that was so like innately us and aligned with our soul and the things that we love, that it was just like, okay, we're like trusting and being in the pocket, in the flow with the force is like, is showing. And then it led to us coming back here and being back in Silver Spring and finding having my teacher there, shout out to Christina, give me the suggestion of the Peace and Movement where I train now as a place to check out when we got back into the area, and how that has led to beautiful connections and things of that nature. And then because it still wasn't in the budget, how being here and Babe's encouragement of like, well, see if there's any way that you could be of assistance there, and then seeing like, oh, hey, their TikTok could use some love, and then offering like, hey, I would love to, help out in this way. And initially there was a no, like, oh, we already have someone doing that, da da da. And I was like, okay, well, we're still like, we're coming up on like, it's just in a couple weeks, just not going to be able to do this financially. And literally Sere, the force, was like, okay, like, you didn't panic, you trusted, you continued to show up, and the opportunity came. The person who was running their TikTok was a pilot in training and wound up getting accepted into a particular flight school to help them get ready to start piloting a certain airline's planes, and they needed a person to run the TikTok, and then was like, hey, what if we, unlimited membership, you run the TikTok, you get to, take whatever classes. And then boom, that issue was resolved. And so even though I wasn't quite there yet with like physically manifesting money monetarily, this was still a version of abundance manifestation. Like, this allowed me to have unlimited access to a space that I really was wanting and needing to spend a lot of time in, and still don't know why, like, still don't know what that's pointing towards on the journey, like what all this aerial training is pointing towards, but realizing like, wow, I'm enjoying being in the air. I'm enjoying now the notion of potentially performing again, and now getting ready for a showcase and feeling excited about the process and creating story and outfit and all of the things that go into the pieces of a performance, and how all of these things are synergizing. And so one, getting really comfortable with letting go of the how, and of the timelines, and also just choosing, like just getting really comfortable with saying, okay, I want to do that. And since I feel the call or the desire to do it, clearly it's going to happen, because I'm now understanding like that's just how my relationship with the force works. And so I set the intention, and then back to what we were talking about still not understanding how the action or the aligned action happens, is like knowing that like, okay, it happens organically. I just need to be present in the now, in my awareness, and the path appears, the proclivities show up naturally. Like, and I feel like I've observed that in you, like we'll both set an intention, observed in both of us, we'll set an intention, and then after we've set the intention, and because of our habits of steeping ourselves in the things that we are interested in, the proclivities just naturally show up to do the thing. And then when we have the capacity and the ability to then be like, okay, this proclivity has been felt, and then we honor that proclivity and then go and do the thing, that's what's led to the most incredible verses that you love, that you've written, that really feel resonant and have led to some of my most incredible flows and aerial sequences that feel just so beautifully grounded, and some of my most incredible writing pieces, and which have now become like mystical scientist notes and articles, in a sense, that are doing wonderful things online. And how I literally had the moment, like, yo, like we're literally writers, successful writers that are getting paid for doing the things that we love, and like just having this beautifully synergistic experience with life and with creation and with the force and with living our fucking dreams. And how the more that energy state is like cultivating and overflowing, like the more the external experience is reflecting that. Which has helped me be like, yeah, without a doubt, I can say, yes, like this is happening. Like, yes, like yesterday when I was putting stuff in the suitcase and you're like, we're moving, and I was like, yes. Yes, because we are. We are. Yes. And just without a shadow of a doubt, that being able to happen. So that was very roundabout, but I hope that was helpful with, I hope what I was intending to share got shared in the process.
No, it was. And it brought one more thing to mind too, is that with me, it's not only that I steep myself in it, in what I consume, but I'm also exuding it at the same time. Like I was creating the conversations nonstop with the people around me about that thing. So I was basically building the world, or writing the reality as I lived the whole time. I kept telling everybody around me, and then I didn't ask Q to come tune set up my vocal recording chain. He came, he's like, yo, I need to come to the recording chain. Like people started to just naturally show up to help. Same with the supernatural video. One of the things I saw with the in the videos I was going through is me sending a voice note to Kareem, or a video to Kareem saying, and then there was another conversation where it was just like, yeah, this stuff with this video opportunity didn't come because I pursued it or because I asked for it, anything like that. It came to me because I was doing the things and just being me, and it came to me. The opportunity, the ask came to me. So, you know, it's all making more and more sense. And the Jedi Master thing is coming, boy.
Yeah. No, like heavy on it. Like, Baby Yoda in this bitch. I'm sorry, in this place. I do have a potty mouth that I should work on. My potty mouth purchased the penthouse. Now my mama can't stand me, but she sit on our teddy couch and I ate customs. Crossing customs is now our customs. Fine dining in Italy. I was the pasta child. Salsa in Salvador. Colombia has my soul. Y Brasil, bon dia. My life is the movie I always affirmed it was. Grounded in gratitude and grace. Solid as outer space. Constantly center stage because I wrote this play.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby. See, this is what I love her. Don't you love her? This is what, a million reasons I love her. Can you, why are you there? Okay, get down, baby. Thank you, buddy.
Not the Hatter, but surely she's mad.
Sure. 64. That's beautiful, baby. That's timely.
That's so timely.
Yeah. You ready to have a good day?
I am. Okay. I'm ready to have a great day.
too, baby. Thank you again for the beautiful conversation. Please don't kiss.